And we also got a Bakphoon with us. Sup, dude?
That's terrible.
Do you
Not
wanna
much.
build an ice type?
Stop it.
Anyway, this now is probably a good moment to say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another
Good moment.
father.
You've been recording this all this time, haven't you?
Yes, I was.
Find out what actually happened this week so I can comment on it.
I don't know.
Well, while you do that,
I knew what happened the last 2 weeks, but this didn't happen, so...
No, the past 2 weeks did not happen. I deleted them because the first week I went to Barcelona, and I did it because for the lols. There was no other reason for it. It was like, hey, that was like sub son. I was like sub dad, and he was like, hey son, let's go to Barcelona. I was like, okay. And then we just hopped onto an airplane and we crashed into Barcelona. And then we just sort of wandered around like, yeah, okay, this is Spain, I guess, and Spanish food,
sure.
and we weren't sure. We know for all we know, they secretly landed us in France, and I couldn't even tell the difference.
But all
But-
you had to
but-
do
You can tell,
was look at the names of the streets, and if they were named after a fascist general, then it would be Spain.
No,
No,
that'd be
the-
ridiculous. All the fascist generals are replaced by no-name women that wrote fiction books on fan fiction or something. Because that's the only notable contribution women give to society is writing on fanfiction.net.
Right,
And when
right.
it's not out
Didn't-
of fiction, that is actually happening in Spain.
Oh,
Because, Artrix, Spain is,
What about? Oh, okay.
is very unequal when it comes to signs and names of streets. There's only like 20% of streets that are named after women. And this needs to fucking change! It's 2016!
Yeah, they need to change it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there and everyone seemed to be doing just fine. Like Barcelona seems to be a really nice place where people just get along.
No, you don't understand. They all had internalized oppression.
That they were so oppressed that everyone seemed very content. Everyone's just living out their lives, and Yeah.
But that's how you know internalized oppression. People seem like they are okay with their lives.
yeah, everyone's like, my life is just fine. And then some dude comes along and is like, no,
it isn't.
you should start feeling oppressed right now. Stop it.
It's rampant. It's even worse in Rome. In Rome, there's only 3.5% streets named after women.
Because I noticed that so much when I was in Rome. Like, for one thing, I can barely even read the fucking signs. I'm like, okay, I can sort of understand what via means because context. So you just walk around and every fucking sign starts with via. So you're like, oh, I guess this is just a hunch, but I guess that via means street or road or
well, it's from the Latin Artrix, and it means way.
yes.
All you need to do is pay attention to your etymology lessons that we all did in school, because wait, hang on. Actually, apparently, understanding language and its origins is not something they think is worthy of teaching in primary and secondary.
Nope,
Just
all
read
day.
an Asterix and Obelix comic.
Yep, and then you'll be cultured. You'd know everything there's to be known about fucking Romans and how
Yeah.
they did fucked shit up, and have a little
Hey, civilized
small
shit.
dude. Yeah, there's a fucking Romans bringing roads and shit to Europe. They're fucking terrible. I hate them.
Man, roads are pretty awful though, really.
Yeah.
Ireland
They're-
got by fine without any Roman roads, and all we did was got occupied by the English for 500 years instead.
No, that's because English had nowhere to go after Romans occupied them.
Yeah, I mean, England was just being England. They were like, oi mate, we're just having a pint, and then the Romans came along and they built London, and they were like, fuck off, we don't want this London here, but they built anyway, and then they left, and then the English were like, well, you know what, this London thing is actually kind of nice, so we're just gonna keep it. It's ours now.
That reminds me about a story about me. Well, no, not technically me. But I was browsing the intertubes recently, and I came across an article being dumped from some horrible left-wing news site. I don't remember what it was called. I don't care, because this isn't worthy of real mention. But the guy in it said that the Irish were never oppressed and Irish slavery is a myth.
Well, gonna ramp up that white guilt.
Because obviously the only people who've ever been oppressed in modern civilization or in any history are black people.
Oh, of course.
And Irish oppression, the Irish oppression done by the English does not compare to what the African Americans suffered in the Americas. I mean, I can understand where he's going from. In America, where slaves were kept, the slaves had to be fed and housed and boarded by their slave owners, by their masters, right?
It's terrible water.
So they were expected, a slave was expected to be kept healthy and alive and fed. The difference between an American slave and an Irish slave is Irish slaves had to do all the same amount of work American slaves did, running farms for the lords, dukes, I guess, back in 1700s. But unlike the American slaves, Irish slaves didn't get food and board at all, or paid. So they had to build their own houses and farm their own tiny little allotment that they were allowed by the Duke to try to struggle to get just enough food to live, which is why the Irish potato famine almost killed all of them.
Wow, the British are dicks.
Yeah.
It's just feudal systems.
You
It's
should-
like this in the entire Europe, and then some people are like, no, stop this. And they made barricades. And a lot of people died.
So I do actually agree with that article's author. The Irish slave trade and the African American slave trade were very different. The Irish one was much worse. And that author was a shithead for writing such horrible tripe.
But obviously the only way that we know that African American slave trade existed and Irish didn't is that there were some African American slaves left after it.
Yeah. The Irish, eventually shot enough English people that they left. And they really, really only granted us our full independence in the 1930s when Germany started acting up again, and the British were like, well, do you know what? With the Germans being all mean over there, maybe we should keep the Irish on our bad side, because that could be a problem. If there was a bunch of German U-boats landing in Ireland and just crossing the short channel across to eastern England, west.
Yes, west.
Yes.
The other east.
Directions. They're complexion.
Directions.
So
Directions.
So I think it's funny that Ireland has had its freedom for less time than the American slaves, yet somehow our oppression is lesser.
Well, this is a phenomenon that we're starting. This whole discussion about this whole discussion about who's more oppressed and who's more, who needs more of a pity than other people's. I've been, since the Sinterklaas celebrations are coming up, and that's like the Dutch equivalent of Sinterklaas, the yearly discussion pops up about the blackface people that we have. Like in the original lore, it's like, this guy comes over from Spain and he's going to give all the kids all the candy, all of them, and he's got like helpers. And
Like, isn't it candy?
well, if you come over, maybe.
Yay.
Just come to Netherlands and you may come across one of these blackface people, and they just give you free shit. And that's basic.
Candy.
Well, yeah, by free shit I mean candy, obviously.
But that's Halloween. Why is your Halloween on Christmas?
We have three Christmases. We've got Christmas, we've got Santa Claus, and in recent years we also have Halloween. So we have all of them. We just culturally appropriate the shit out of every holiday out there.
Halloween is just too commercialized.
This is genius.
And I guess Artrix just do what we did. Also, he wasn't from Spain, he was from Greece. Anyway.
Yeah, but we
just
made
do
it
what we
Spain
did.
because...
And put horns on the niggers and call them devils. And that's it.
Yeah,
Problem solved.
But ours are blackface because they climb through chimneys.
Are you saying that devils cannot be black?
Yes.
Now, that's racism.
Damn straight. I mean, yeah, they can't be
You
black.
white devil.
Yes, exactly. That's what I've been told. There can only be white devils, obviously.
I've been watching a show called Lucifer recently, where Lucifer, the devil, plays the good guy, and the black guy plays the Archangel Gabriel, as is actually the bad guy at some point. So I think they're kind of reversing the black and white nature there a bit. Is that racist? Is it racist to make a black guy an evil Angel Gabriel, and make a white guy a good devil?
You know what? I don't know anymore. Everything is racist. Everything is homophobic. Everything is
Sexist.
Oh yeah, sexist, misogynistic, and everything is too lewd for you, and you need to point it all out.
I just guess I'm not that used to Gabriel being the bad guy. Usually it's Mikhail, his bro. And Gabriel is like, well, maybe the people aren't that bad. Stop killing them with holy fire.
Well, actually, they had Eriel do that, but then Lucifer stabbed him with his own sword. Yeah, Eriel was being a bit of a dick. So Lucifer's like, I'm devil, so I punish people for being a dick. Now give me that sword and put it right through his belly.
Hey, it's what you wanted. You promoted me.
It's a pretty good show, actually. I just spoiled a huge plot element, but
You
just
thief.
forget I said that.
Sounds good. Well, it
I'll put a spoiler.
Supernatural, and apparently Gabriel is the god Loki.
I know how to fix this. I'll put a spoiler warning in the video description, okay?
Yes.
Oh, don't
I'm
worry.
sure that'll help. Also, the fact that barely anyone watches this show.
You should put it in like this: spoiler warning, and then say the spoiler.
Yeah.
Just so people know what
Just-
exactly they should
yeah.
not listen to when they hear. it.
I think I'll do just that, just for maximum lols. Anyway, I've seen these articles pop up, more or less arguing against this whole this uproar, because they're like, yeah, this is the white man just keeping black people down, and it's only the Netherlands. There's no other culture doing this whatsoever. And then articles like, except not really, because these kind of traditions are all over the planet in almost any culture.
Actually, the whole world is racist.
It's true. Everyone is racist.
Mhm.
And
Even Widowmaker, I'm pretty sure she's racist against orange people or green people.
No,
I mean,
racist against the robots.
anyone
that too.
who's not purple.
yeah.
Or French.
So I guess he's a purple supremacist.
Exactly. If you want to be on her good side, you need to be blue and French.
One shot, one kill, and then she misses because I don't know.
Well, that's because you
Had
play
the
her.
blue, French,
Exactly.
and female.
That was good with Widowmaker, but then they stopped the beta, so I stopped caring about the game.
Just because it stopped being free, right?
Indeed,
Yeah.
it's too shit of a game to pay money for it.
Well, they found a few million people who will pay money for a free-to-play game, so why not do that?
Yeah.
But those
Yes.
people are incorrect.
You know what? If you
Yes.
want to play free, go to Steam, play League of Legends. That's what you just said.
That's
Yeah.
a completely different type of game.
Yes.
But also, Team Fortress 2 is the same kind of game and better because it's free.
Or just play freaking paladins or whatever.
Paladins, that's it, not
and-
League Legends. Paladin,
and you-
that's what I'm looking for.
And you forgot, Panboy, that
Hey,
you know,
don't mansplain to Astra. Come on, it's currency.
I'm talking to Panboy. You forgot to mention that Team Fortress has weapons, while Overwatch has no weapons.
That's so.
You know, that's a thing that Blizzard does. Blizzard is dumbing down all the games they have because, god damn it, choices and options that just confuses customers, players. So what they do is take a game that works, like I don't know, Magic, the Gathering, and then they take out all the skill out of it and replace it with random generated numbers. And hey, it's a totally new game. Let's call it Hearthstone. Then they take a MOBA and take out all the items because you know that's confusing. Buying items and remembering what the items do and their stats and points and pluses and even percentages. So they take it out. Obviously that's better. And it's a new revolutionary game. Let's just call it Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, but the key difference is, Heroes is the Storm, you can drive a siege tank.
Well, you can do that in Overwatch too. Well, and since I mentioned those two examples, Overwatch is this for Team Fortress. It's plain and simple.
It's true.
Or you could say it's dumbed down version of Smite, because Smite is basically MOBA but in third person, and Overwatch has abilities, but that's just semantics.
Beginning of the impression, just basically, all modern competitive multiplayer shooters are just bad, and I don't want to play any of them.
Especially the ones from Blizzard.
Yes. I haven't even tried Titanfall 2 yet, and it's free right now, and I'm
People
still
say-
not playing it.
Okay, I guess. Oh hey, you know what's also free? The first Neverwinter Nights.
Oh. I already own it twice.
Nice. Well, I just started owning it for absolutely unrelated reasons.
Oh. Did you steal it from the internet for free?
Maybe.
It's a terrible thing to do.
Maybe I have to reset my password for GOG because I forgot it. I was the only ones to claim the free Torchlight. Torchlight is the kind of game that should be for free because that's about how much value you get out of it.
Well,
Wow. So you know, I don't trust RPGs from the 90s anymore. Not after what they did with Baldur's Gate.
they improved it. They added an expansion.
Yes.
And a new engine that actually runs on Windows Modern.
Windows Modern.
But at what price?
The price of Gamergate jokes.
And absolutely reworked characters. No, I will never excuse you, Astra.
Fuck you, I'm yawning.
Exactly.
Also, stop mansplaining to her. Come on.
I'm trying to find some interesting news. And all I can find is typical politicians in Australia calling each other liars before their election.
Oh, that. Okay, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked, and here's why. Because it sounds like they're not constantly calling each other's cunts.
Oh no.
You will cunt.
I'm pretty sure they are still doing it. It's
Well,
just
that's
in Australia it's not
Artrix.
newsworthy.
One, it's Australia. Two, they are politics. I don't see why they would call each other friend.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
Because I'm pretty sure cunt in Irish and in Australian means friend.
I'm pretty sure of that. You know, you go into the pub and you're like, you all you cheeky cunt, and it's all normal.
Yes.
You just call them cunt in return. Well, you're more of a cunt than the other guy. So.
Yeah, but I actually found some real important news.
Real important estate.
Yes.
Well, go
There's
ahead.
gonna be, in 2018, there's gonna be
It's not current year,
live
I don't
action
care.
Barbie movie.
What?
Wait, there's gonna be
Nice.
what?
That's
Yes,
my fetish.
a live action Barbie movie.
Now the thing I wonder the thing I wonder here is why isn't this a thing that existed earlier? I mean, the 80s are like 30 years ago, and there's still no Barbie movie. How is that physically possible?
There's TV movies.
It's because
Sort of
they
a
blew
movie?
all their budget on Transformers.
Straight to VHS does not count as a movie.
I mean,
You have to have some suckers in cinema. Yeah.
dudes, the 1980s was when we had like not just one but multiple Care Bear movies in theaters.
But you know what the weird thing is? There was other cartoons also in the 80s that were far superior to the Care Bears. Like, and were much better for selling toys.
Yeah, like the Pound
Transformers,
Puppies.
or Mask, or even the Pound Puppies. Yet we get 3 fucking Care Bear movies.
Well, Pound Puppies did get one movie, didn't they?
I
Remember
I'm pretty sure they did because I watched the shit out of that movie because it was one of the few I got on VHS.
I think I just recall that there was talks of there being a Mask movie at some point in the future.
there was the Mask movie.
No, Mask. Not the Mask.
That one had its chance and it fucking blew it. I mean, the first one was a success. The second one,
Don't even talk about the second one, please. Don't.
I think the only movie from the 80s with dogs in it that I watched was All Dogs Go to Heaven. And it was the best gangster movie I've ever seen.
Yes, it was awesome. Not so much the second one though.
The second one was survivable. Then there was the Christmas special.
Apparently it was rumors that the G.I. Joe, the third G.I. Joe movie, would have a Mask crossover. Which would just be strange.
well, didn't we already have a G.I. Joe movie, but it was like the EU or something like that.
Honestly, I think I watched the first G.I. Joe movie, and I don't remember.
You don't
I
remember
don't remember
any.
if I watched it or not, but I'm pretty sure I did. But I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that just goes to show how memorable it is, I guess.
I remember it existing, and I think it got a sequel.
Ooh,
I wouldn't be surprised.
that's too much.
But my memories of G.I. Joe keep going to the ad in Now Look Who's Talking 2, where the two babies were watching the TV and they said they wanted the Cobra Action Command vehicle. And that is a much more vivid memory, and I haven't seen that movie since sometime in the 90s.
It's a reasonable goal.
I
In
think
life?
it had John Travolta in it. Was it John Travolta? I don't remember. Who was in Look Who's Talking 2?
John Travolta might be there. I mean, he's in everything. He was even in that one movie that was based on the book by the creationist, not creationist, the Scientologist guy.
L. Ron Hubbard?
Yes.
They made a book based on that?
No, they made a movie based on his books.
Oh god, why?
I don't know. But it was about aliens who lived on a planet that had so much oxygen in the atmosphere that one bomb detonated it all.
Good job, Internet. I mean,
Yes. It was a movie that was about something, and in the end, it wasn't about blowing up aliens. The entire movie mining gold or stealing gold from Fort Knox and trying to convince the aliens that that's actually mined gold. The aliens didn't buy it. Suddenly they are on the island planet and blowing it up.
well, you know what happened. You know, all the aliens died, and their souls were sucked up by Xenu, and they were dropped in a volcano, and then we evolved from them somehow.
Yes. That makes sense.
That is my religion.
Your religion is, well, the thing you just no. Why?
That's the Scientologist core belief.
No. Scientologists believe there was like this alien dude, and he did some bullshit, and then everyone died.
He abducted all the aliens from his home planet and dumped them in volcanoes on Earth. That is the core belief of Scientology.
Then he detonated nukes into volcanoes.
Yeah, because our sad feelings and insecurities are just alien shit, and the only way makes all the perfect sense.
Did you know that airplanes are unconsciously modeled after spaceships?
Of course.
Unconsciously. Well, when I was going to Barcelona, it did feel like I was going into space. I mean, so I guess that makes sense.
If the plane kept going up, you would, but unfortunately, planes can't keep going up because there's not enough air in the upness.
But if you're sitting in an airplane, you can't really tell whether you're going up or not. So
that reminds me of two projects that I had proposed. The first is a supersonic travel again, because some guy has enough money to throw at it for it to become reality. I don't think that naming the planes Boom is a good marketing, turn of events, but hey, why not? And the other one is that some Canadian company wants to build a 20 kilometers tall tower.
20 kilometers, well, good luck with that.
Yes.
There wouldn't be air at the top.
Well, they want to start spaceships out of there.
Oh, yeah.
You need to go a bit
it gets
higher.
more and more reasonable, right? Well, they want to build a testing tower that's only 1.5 kilometers tall.
They're talking about building a giant tower to turn into a giant magnetic accelerator to launch ships into space without needing rocket fuel.
Or at least a launch pad. I don't know what's the exact. Well, it's supposed to be, hollow inside, so probably.
Yeah, no, I imagine a giant railgun of that size would be pretty good at launching shit into space.
Yes, at the price of moving Canada a bit.
I think they might have trouble with structural integrity building a tower that tall, though.
Maybe.
I think they're better off if they actually just built a really large ramp that was really long. Maybe a 30-kilometer ramp. They could use an existing mountain and just like level side of it and turn it into a ramp and put a railgun on top of it. No need to build a giant infrastructure. Just dig a ramp. Dig a fucking ramp. It's much easier. You wouldn't have the same vertical velocity, but you'd be accelerating over a longer distance, and you'd be grand.
And then you win the prize.
I never tried being in space shuttle, so I don't know.
So, you just need to get like 2,000 meters per second and launch it. You fuck it off into space. I couldn't angle, Sure, it might burn up going up into the atmosphere.
That's a tell.
Yeah, just put some ceramic on the front of it. It'll be grand.
It's nothing Elon Musk doesn't have to overcome.
No, he'll just use a hyperloop into space.
His aircraft sometimes explode while standing perfectly still.
Yeah, that happened.
He also wants to put more and more satellites up there so people have better internets.
Didn't Google want to launch like 1 million satellites to give free internet to everyone, and then it just didn't work?
Well, they weren't Elon Musk, obviously.
Wow. Oh dear.
What now?
An airplane crashed.
Oh,
yes.
again?
I have it. With football, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do tend to crash every once in a while, unfortunately. That's life.
Only the place with the football man on board.
I mean, it didn't stop me from flying. It was like, yeah, I might crash.
Well, that was because you were almost sure that there's no football man on the board.
That too. I mean, having football men on board would definitely change the situation. But there were not any on board, so it was perfectly safe.
Well, at least this one wasn't shot down. Because that seemed to be a trend there for a while.
No, obviously it was the fault of video games.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Well, it was.
No, it was. Wait. It wasn't the fault of video games. It was the fault of gamers.
Yes, of
I mean,
a
God.
gamer, because apparently one of the footballmen was trying to retrieve his video game pocket thing out of the luggage, and it took him so long that the plane couldn't make a landing to refuel because that particular airport didn't offer services after midnight for some reason.
Yeah, it is saying here that the plane ran out of fuel. Planes are supposed to have a reserve tank for almost half their flight time.
Yeah, it turns out that the maximum range of this plane was just about the rough distance between the two cities it traveled.
That's absurd. So
yeah,
this plane crashed due to gross incompetence.
Well, it's
Yep,
South
pretty
America.
much.
That's pretty shitty. That's even worse than it being shot down.
I mean, this is preventable.
Just don't play video games. Right.
Now, just don't be a gamer. Come on, it's current
If
year.
you weren't a gamer, then you wouldn't cause the plane to be delayed, and you would have enough time to land and refuel, and then you wouldn't explode in mountains.
Regardless, they should have landed anyway and waited until the next day to launch if they couldn't fucking refuel that day. That's...
Well, the pilots thought they could make it. And then they didn't make it by like 30 kilometers or something.
I wonder if they even tried an emergency landing.
Well, yeah, but there's mountains all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you kind of fucked, because I did hear stories about airplanes or pilots being able to save an airplane that ran out of fuel by gliding, and apparently they can do that for hundreds of kilometers.
Well, yeah, that happened. They landed in mountains, then they ate each other. Well, they started with the dead people, obviously.
Hmm.
And then some of them even survived.
I think that was a movie called Alive.
Yes, maybe. I don't know. The event is called Miracle in Andes.
That was
But
a
yeah.
pretty nasty movie though.
It's a pretty nasty name. Like you crash land, you have to eat other people, and they call it Miracle.
But yeah, good pilot is able to save that shit, but this pilot is obviously a big noob. But that's obviously because they're a gamer.
Yeah.
Have you never heard that you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, Artrix? Also, I don't think the pilot was the gamer.
No.
But gamers are dead.
Well,
So
that's
so obviously obviously the pilot is at fault because they're dead. Gamers are dead. Ergo, it was his fault.
Well, the pilot made the gamers die. That's a good thing, right?
I guess. I mean, yeah, that's the current year mentality, right? Fucking gamers.
So far. I've seen an article, Artrix.
Oh.
It was
Oh.
about... Panboy knows what I'm talking about. It was about parents being very distraught and upset that their children have accessible books in schools that where you can read about sexual acts and masturbation and even
no.
homosexuality.
I think there was even mention in the article of books using such terrible words as cusses.
Oh, that's true. They wanted to ban To Kill a Mockingbird and stuff like Why the Bird in the Cage Sings, and the books that are known even outside of America.
I remember hearing about this kind of thing happening when I was in school in the 90s, that schools are trying to ban all sorts of stupid books like Catcher in the Rye and Probably to Kill the Mockingbird. And the funny thing is,
I would bank a Catcher in the Rye because that's a book so boring. They should use it in Guantanamo.
but Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, that's what it's called.
Well, that's
All
full of
these
niggers.
books, just because they used the word nigger a few times. I was like, okay, these books were based in the age that these words were used commonly. It
On
would-
Mississippi.
Yes, on the Mississippi, and it's absurd to ban them over the use of offensive language, and now they're doing it again. It's like the world goes through these cycles of people suddenly becoming retarded again and again and again.
Well,
It's like-
right now we had the cycle of communism that abruptly ended because Trump.
Thank God for that.
And it is to be seen whether that shit is actually going to have any effect, because the backlash is huge. Like,
Huge.
huge. No, but really, the amount of... I mean...
That's the thing, Artrix. You know what was the best part about the article? Mind you, I only skimmed it, I didn't read it in its entirety. I couldn't tell if it was an article by left-leaning people who were, very upset about all the triggers in the books, or if it was by the conservatives who were upset about the ungodly sins contained in those books.
That reminds me of this picture I've seen recently where they basically show you the full spectrum of retardation, and on one end it's the neo-Nazis and basically just being all like, yeah, I don't date degenerate brown-skinned people and I gotta, maintain pure race, blah blah. Then there's the normies who are basically like, meh, whatevs. And then on the other end there are the SAWs that are equally racist and retarded for basically the same reasons but opposite.
It's good old
It does.
horseshoe theory.
Exactly. It was basically a horseshoe theory, the image. I think it was done
So
by
extreme to one
Patriarch.
side, you
Yeah.
flip right round to there.
Yes.
I like horses. They taste good.
I don't know about that.
Just goes to show that everyone is retarded, including us.
Well,
We are probably the
especially
most
retarded.
we are probably the most retarded people on the
Yeah, I
planet.
mean, we are recording
I am-
a podcast, so
I'm
yes.
pretty sure that makes us qualified at something. But you can't just waste all this retardedness. You have to do something with it.
Well, I'm already drawing Widowmaker, so that's already a lot of retardation right there.
A window maker.
A window maker. That's right. In the game, you run around with your sniper rifle and your visor and shit, and then you construct windows that your teammates can peek through.
I think that's Symmetra.
No, that's
Yes.
Widowmaker. She makes the window.
She constructs windows that you can step into and then fall into water.
No, Symmetra obviously makes nothing but symmetrical shapes everywhere. Like this map is asymmetrical, can't have that shit, and then she just rebuilds
the thing
entire.
that bugged me the most about Symmetra?
What did bug about Symmetra? Let's see what
That
it
she
says.
has only one gauntlet. That's not very symmetrical, is it now?
No.
She's pretty asymmetrical, really. She should be called asymmetric.
Yep.
Or a retard. Like, come on, it's in your name. Try a bit.
I don't know. There's not very much sexually symmetrical about that character at all, except the name.
Indeed.
I think she can only place 3 turrets as well, which is
No, 6.
Yeah,
Just putting.
it can be symmetrical. You can make a hexagon with
But
it.
yeah, I tried playing as Symmetra a few times. I don't really get this character down.
That's because you suck.
No,
She's a support character.
that
She's a
too.
sport. She just places turrets and then she AFKs and then she gets the play of the game.
But her turrets don't do any damage.
Exactly.
They do. They like when you cramp them into one place. Players can go through like a small room.
Or above doors.
The thing about those turrets is that they are they're super fucking flimsy. So you put them down, and you're like, oh, that's a nice few bunch of what?
It's ambush turrets.
Yes, that's exactly what I do. I put them in an ambush spot where you can't see them initially.
Yeah.
But one.
And then you get play of the game. I saw a beautiful play of the game of Torbjorn the other day.
Yeah, but his turret actually does a fair bit of damage.
No. Yes, exactly. That's why he got to play of the game.
Exactly, but
The play of the game was him standing on a ledge and getting shot, and then ragdolling down the ledge. That was it.
look. Whenever Symmetra puts down a turret, it's like she takes Kinder Surprise egg and she puts like a firecracker in there, and she just sort of glues it next to a door, and then you just look at it, and then it explodes. And what?
Kinder Surprise choking hazard.
Exactly.
America.
They are delicious chocolate.
So another
But indeed, inside there's a murder.
But you know, it also depends. If you're on the European server, they don't do jack shit. So
I was kind of disappointed that the capsules in Kinder Surprise that contain the toys, they started making them in one piece, and what's the point in that?
That's terrible. Also, they put air holes in them to stop Americans from choking. I'm not even joking. They didn't used to have air holes in the capsules, but they do now.
Yeah.
Because apparently people just take off the wrapper, toss that fucker up in the air, open it out wide, and swallow it in one.
Oh, the American would do that.
top cack.
Taste it.
Well, yeah.
The point and taste it. Why would you ever glob it down like that?
Because you're American and you have to eat 60 of those
But-
for lunch.
But if you ate it like a normal person and didn't even break it, but just put it in your mouth and bit it, you'd notice it was full of shit.
Yeah, that's not a way to eat a Kinder Surprise. I mean, there's science to it. You have to break it exactly at the seam of the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
With a laser.
this fucker here, this is a real Kinder Surprise connoisseur. He knows his Kinder Surprise.
I damn do, and the capsules in 2 pieces are the best thing. Like, you can launch them at your enemies or friends or anybody. You can throw them to your cat to play with, and you have still the other half over.
Okay,
it's
and
over
now-
when the cat loses the first one, and they are reasonably watertight.
And now-
Why don't you
and
put
now-
air holes in them?
And now
And
I picture fucking Symmetra running around just throwing Kinder Surprise eggs at people.
In their mouths.
Like what's her face? Far comes along, is like justice, rage, bro, and then she just gets a Kinder Surprise. Yeah, yeah. She just. It's just, you know, spazzing there, and I was like, "You will make." She just points to her throat like.
Stop that.
Top gag.
And she chokes in Egyptian.
Oh yeah, she does do it in Egyptian style. So I guess she does like that zigzaggy thing with her arms.
Perfectly right and 45-degree angle.
A Symmetra is pleased.
Yep.
These shapes are perfectly 90-degree angles.
Yes.
That all makes sense now.
Overwatch fan fiction, Radio Rothingham styles, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, it reminds me though, apparently this fucker from PBS did an entire video. Like, I don't know how long it was probably like 20 minutes. So he did an entire fucking video where he was like, Overwatch is really popular and it's got a lot of sexy fan art. Is this a new phenomenon? I don't know. This is new. This never happened before ever. There's never been sexy fan art ever until Overwatch came along, and and I'm going to spend 20 minutes explaining what fan fiction is and erotic fan art.
I never heard about this. Tell me more.
I'm pretty sure that on the internet there's a rule pertaining to there being pornographic fan art of things.
Yeah, but Panboy, you don't get it. This guy is really smart because he works for PBS and
I have indeed watched that entire video.
Oh god. You have my condolences, you really do.
Because I do watch his videos. He sometimes says incredibly dumb stuff, but not always, but sometimes.
And who are we talking about?
The guy who does the PBS Idea channel. He's this guy with semi-shaved head or receding hairline.
Yeah, I'm not very inclined to listen to anything that has idea in the name.
He tends to talk. He sometimes goes on about some of the internet phenomenons that happen every now and again, and he comments on it in a much more friendly and mainstream acceptable fashion.
He's very sophisticated, I bet.
I mean, he doesn't even use the swear words at all.
Oh.
It's very family friendly.
Yeah, I was thinking that he'll be sophisticated as fuck.
But yeah, he basically spent 20 fucking minutes explaining that, yeah, people like to look at sexy Overwatch images because it's got the sexy women's in them. There, bam, done.
He tried to establish that people liked Overwatch more than they like other things because he felt the characters were more identifiable and because there was a range of different types of characters and that let people, you know, it gave people more options for their fanfics and their inserts and their love triangles. Like, not really. Every show has dynamic characters and body types, but then he also went to say, and they're also kind of blank slates, which means you can insert whatever personality on them you want. So he was like kind of saying
That
one
man
thing
doesn't
and then
read lore.
the opposite. Yeah, no, they're not really blank slates.
No.
The people who are really interested in these characters do read all the lore, so
Yeah.
I haven't read any of the lore because why would I read the lore?
I remember back
Well, I didn't put it into the game, so why? Right.
yeah, I remember many years ago games used to have lore inside the game.
Yeah, they used to have these things called stories. I
Yeah.
don't know what those are. I just had the word.
Oh, I heard rumors that Blizzard are more concentrating on trying to make more movies than actual video games at the moment.
Well,
They're already planning a sequel to Warcraft, and they probably want an Overwatch movie. Like, they've built up this big lore that they're not putting anywhere.
They would be fucking retarded if they didn't try and make like an Overwatch movie because it's constantly alluded to that this big fucking thing happened in that universe
it
and
was a war.
yeah, there was a war and there was like robots and shit and all you see is like, okay, I'm in this town in Germany and you can sort of
I
see.
think they are not robots, that's racist. They are called Omnics.
I just call them robots because it rolls off the
You
tongue.
bigot.
Yes, I'm the biggest bigot on the fucking planet.
Bigot.
Biggest bigot.
Bigot.
Big ghost.
Bigot. Oh.
Yeah.
Fajay.
Biggest bigot.
Biggest or biggest?
Yeah,
Yes.
the Warcraft movie was all over the place. I mean, all over the place. They were in geographical places in which they didn't have to be at all. But they're really cool, you know, cool stuff. Hollywood, explosions, gimmicks, effects.
Oh god. I just read some terrible news.
Oh god.
Is Blizzard ending?
No, it's really
Aw.
retarded.
Oh,
Apparently,
Blizzard is.
someone in London has been arrested for hate crimes for making mock Pokemon cards with terrorists on them.
Okay.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
You could
on, man.
say that he was a terror is.
That's a new law.
Oh god, the card reads Pokemon. Gotta catch and deport them all. Pokemon name, Beheaditron. Description. The dumbest of all Pokemon. Beheaditron believes cutting off non-Muslims' heads will somehow please his god. Dumber than a mushroom.
That's okay, God.
And apparently you can get arrested for this in England now.
Yep.
For saying offensive things about offensive people who want to cause offense to you and your loved ones is now a crime.
Hey, when you get your head chopped off, then you can't be offended because you're dead.
That's true.
Duh. So obviously we need to just let these people do what they do unhindered.
Just chop people's head off. That's the solution. They can't complain.
That's so tolerant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best you can do for them.
It's hilarious. Apparently, like, the guy is trying to draw attention to the fact that the media and our political leaders are kind of ignoring Islamic terrorism lately. Just, letting it run rife. Which I can't disagree with.
It's just something you have to, get used to and start living with it. What's the big deal?
Being murdered in the street by a random stranger is now, part of everyday French life that you just have to deal with. Unless they kill you, in which case you can't deal with it because they killed you.
And this is why people are completely flabbergasted why, there's politicians like Le Pen. Like, how does it even happen? Why would such a thing exist?
This is why Trump won America.
Well, according to some surveys, Merkel has like 50% of the population support.
Why? Well, it is the media reporting it. I mean,
Yes,
this is probably the same media that predicted that Hillary would win by like
90%.
99.9% chance.
So yeah.
So yeah.
I'm pretty sure people in Germany probably aren't reporting their actual beliefs to the media either.
Well, to be fair,
about,
they didn't say people in Germany, they said Germans. It's just like, 20% of the population of Germany.
Okay, let Beck speak because this is Germany topic. Once
But
we
that
go.
was like a joke, Artrix. He wouldn't
Okay.
make a German joke. He doesn't have enough patriotism in him.
Shut up, Sav.
Aww.
The thing about German media is because like we have those huge TV channels, especially like the public ones. We have those huge newspapers, but the people at the top of the newspapers, like the managers and the leading people there, are actually former retired politicians.
Of
Nice.
course.
It sounds like every public access TV channel out there.
They are the only one
but
rich enough
that's
to buy a
exactly the thing,
newspaper,
and
right?
that's basically, if there's some retired politician, so
You can't expect a government-run agency run by ex-government members to be non-partial or impartial.
Yeah. I mean, you are a politician, you stop doing politician stuff because you got called with a few million more than you should have, and then just sort of, okay, I'm ending with politics.
The money was just resting in his
Exactly,
account.
it was resting in this box, in this vine box. I just, it's a gift. The 7 million euro, that's a gift. And then you stop politicianing and like, okay, what now? Oh, fuck it, I have 7 million in a vine box. I'm just going to buy a news station.
Just a new one, It's like starting a new vlog on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like starting a new vlog, so just create a new account. There we go. Except, it's on national scale. So.
Yeah, new account.
Do you support your current media back?
not really.
Do you think it's a common sentiment of the German people to not support your media?
Well, it's a common sentiment to be critical of it. And the thing about media is like we have like this one party. It's called AFD, Alternative for Germany, and it used to be a small party that was at first it was just like opposed to EU. And of course, when we got all the refugees, they were like kind of just questioning, not like being like against it, just questioning.
Why is this Muslim in my house and eating from my fridge?
Yeah, pretty much this. But of course, the media was like, oh no, it's a right-wing party. They are all Nazis. And basically,
It's a
what
Nazi.
happened because all of the reports, all the people that were kind of right, yeah, voted for them and also joined the party and so on.
That's the thing, not... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy. So basically, the media actually helped boost the numbers for this party because they were reporting about it.
It's almost like just calling everyone a Nazi doesn't actually help your cause. I think we have a term for this on the internet. I think it's called Goodwin's Law. The moment you compare your enemy to a Nazi, you have lost.
No. The original law states that as longer as the conversation or the discussion goes on, the probability of Hitler being mentioned approaches 1.
True, but language changes over time, Artrix, and it's come to something else. And what it has come to mean now is when you're a Goodwin, it's when you compare him to Hitler, you lose.
Well, that is kind of the
It
same
means
thing.
comparing to Hitler plus power.
But yeah, we are seeing that a lot of quote normal people that were never really that much into
The
left or
media
right.
do perform a service for all the people they try to condemn by mentioning them all the time. It's a nice free advertisement. I mean, it's something that happened in our national song contest. Nobody cares about because the guy who's been winning it for the last 40 years won again, unexpectedly. Even though he's so ill that it wasn't clear if he's actually going to arrive. He did eventually. He didn't even die on the way.
This is the Czech equivalent to the Eurovision.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, the second place, I don't know if it was the second place of bands or just of singers, but the second place was taken by a guy who's singing very patriotic songs about, Islam people being bad, and he also happens to be a neo-Nazi. And when he was taking the award, a gypsy rapper was booing at him, and then he did a very, very powerful gesture. He got up and stormed out of the hall, and then he slammed the door shut behind him.
The singer or the gypsy?
The gypsy.
Okay.
It's a very powerful gesture, I know. And then the media was like, this is terrible. How could this person win this second prize? We need to stop this evil! And yes, that was actually a title of one article that we need to stop the evil. And if it wasn't for this media massage, I wouldn't even know that such a band or a singer exists.
Dear the media, you are creating Nazis by calling everyone Nazis. Please stop.
He is a Nazi.
Because maybe what we need right now is some more Nazis.
Maybe we need Nazis now.
Just to kind of balance everything out.
Yeah, well, the thing about the refugees is the gypsies don't like them because they are taking terrible fare, and the neo-Nazis don't like them. So
Because
what?
they're Nazis.
Yes, exactly. So it might come to a time when neo-Nazis and gypsies fight side by side.
God. Before you know it, you'll have Nazis and Jews fighting together to stop the Muslims.
Just get these fuckers out of here so we can kill each other in peace.
And then we've gone full circle.
Did we just Goodwin ourselves?
I think we did.
Yeah. Well, we didn't actually compare anyone to Nazis.
Indeed.
We just stated that there are Nazis.
And we're making fun of everyone right
it
now.
needs more Nazis. Artrix, reverse your goatee.
No.
Well, you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man.
Yeah, just
No, I'm dark blonde. I do have blue eyes though.
Just snip off the goatee and glue it under your nose.
Or I can just, grow mustache.
Yeah, but that's slower.
That is slower. You were very correct.
Just do the chaplain and the goose step.
Yeah.
People will flock to you.
That was a good one.
Anyways, I think if you're still up for it, I think Bakphoon wanted to bring this article by our good friends at the Neo Gaffs.
Neofag.
Yes,
Yo, right
those
ahead.
two. Okay. So in this article, you should be the one explaining it because you brought it up. So 1 of 3, go.
I forgot what article was.
Okay, but I didn't, so I'll bring it up. So
You are the back now!
I am now the back. So I am the back. I am German, and so this is in this article in the New Gaff. This is what you sound like back, Xaverius. Anyway, so in the New Gaff, there was someone posted an article about rape is bad.
Wow. I didn't know this. Tell me more.
Rape is. Apparently, this is news.
I've been going around raping everyone I see.
That's
I
cool.
thought it was like shaking hands.
Anyway, the article basically cites a study that has come to the conclusion that about 20% of all Europeans seem to think that rape is justifiable in some cases.
Are they asking the immigrants, perhaps?
I think they might have been. Because I'm pretty sure you'll find very few people who find rape justifiable in any situation.
Well, here's the thing about these sorts of articles. Because they're usually brought into the world to push the notion that we should get rid of innocent until proven guilty. No.
Oh yeah, just hang everyone the moment they walk into the courthouse. It's like, you've been accused of rape, here's the noose.
Well, not to that extreme, but
You're right, the guillotine, it's quicker.
you're accused of rape. Well, we are going to assume you're guilty until you can prove that you're innocent.
Here's the guilt, you just kill yourself. We are not even going to spend the energy of killing you.
They'll just actually put a queue up next to the express train tracks. I mean, the train's going anywhere. You don't need to set anything up. It'll just spread the body like fertilizer over miles of brush.
That's actually a very good point.
Oh, that's what I like about you, Panboy. This good old-fashioned conservative business solution. Yes,
Well, this is thinking of people.
The more you feed the trees next to the rail line, the thicker the brush and heavier it will get. It will deaden more of the noise, absorb more of the carbon dioxide. You're like killing all these birds with just a bunch of rapists. I mean, accused rapists.
Accused? No. Let's go one step further.
Same thing.
Just call them rapists. I mean,
Why wouldn't you believe the victim?
Yeah, why wouldn't you believe the victim? You should automatically believe anything anyone says. Ever.
I mean, I totally didn't just read another story about this very subject, where apparently a college professor was Wait. Okay. Now I'm realizing I'm forgetting the details, which means this story is going to be bad. Yes.
Okay, in the meantime, maybe Beck wants to add his 2 cents about this because he did bring it up.
Aww.
I think the issue there is basically like the mentality about it. As you say, some people think, like, of course, even there's one extreme that thinks, like, if that guy looks at me already, then it's rape. And there's the other extreme that's like, yes, I did it with her, she was drunk, but you know, those fringe cases kinda, you know, she was drunk and they did it, and it wasn't really consensual. It's kinda the territory where it's kinda the people are arguing right now here. It's fringe territory where like it was at a party, she was drunk, and is it rape or is it not?
Yeah, because so if both people in this scenario are drunk, right? Like say you go to a party, you had a bunch of beers, she had a bunch of wines, you're both shit-faced.
Yeah.
So you both have a clouded judgment. But, you know, since you're both drunk, you decide, you know what, let's have some sexy times. So you have the sexy times.
Drunk
And then-
sex is not rape.
Unless
Unless the man who, unless the aggressor, I'm not going to say the man, I'm going to say the aggressor, unless the aggressor is intentionally getting the victim drunk in order to take advantage of them. But if the two people are in fact getting drunk together and then they're having a good time and then they go home and bump the nasties, that's not rape. That's just ordinary stupid people going off and getting drunk sex.
This is exactly what the people are arguing about, because, you know, if it turns out that the female, you know, is of a special kind, you know, the kind that thinks that all men are evil, she will most likely claim, I didn't want to do it, he urged me to do it, or something. She will find something, because, you know, because men are evil, so of course who will they believe? Of course the woman, because she's always the oppressor or something.
I think
That's kind of the corner case here.
This
Well,
would
this
be
is
all
why you
solved if
gather
everybody
evidence.
was raped exactly once.
This is why when you invest a criminal charge, you have to investigate and find if there's any evidence. You have to take witness testimonies from neutral parties and biased parties, and you have to see if there's any surveillance cameras in the pub, because you can probably tell if a girl is being dragged out drunk or if she walks out of her own volition. Yes.
In what stigation?
When they're wandering out of pubs. Because maybe most pubs in Ireland have security cameras. I don't know about the States, because apparently in the Americas they're terrified of security cameras. They're terrified of Big Brother. But there's cameras everywhere here. Almost every establishment has security cameras for the purposes of insurance, they say. And also
you have
watch their own
terrorists
staff.
everywhere.
And to watch their staff steal their own money.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like,
They have money in that one?
sometimes. I used to fit security cameras, so you know this was a standard routine. You'd fit the floor cameras, and you would fit a camera you'd fit two cameras over the till, one to watch the people at the till, and another one to watch the till itself, in case people put their fingers in it, including your own staff. But the cameras are not officially there to watch your own staff. You trust your staff. The cameras are just there to watch the till in case it gets nicked by some scanger who wanders in.
it's also to if there's an issue, like some dude is like, hey, you gave me the wrong amount of change. Then you can be like, well, let's have a look at the footage.
You'll
Well-
have a pretty hard time seeing how much change is exchanged on security.
No,
It's just a mess of crap.
That's why you need to put the cameras in the money.
I worked at a place where we did have those kind of cameras, and you could tell whether someone got the right amount of change.
Just because
But-
you worked at such a place doesn't mean that every place is like this.
No, every place has them, no exceptions.
Artrix is picking only the finest fast foods to work in.
Yep, I worked at the best McDonald's on the planet. We were like the top dog, McDonald's.
Admittedly,
It wasn't even McDonald's, it was Fondonald's.
Yeah, they renamed it Fun Donald's because I worked there. But then I left because I earned enough money, and then they renamed it back to McDonald's.
You ruined them, so they had to
Funnels.
change back.
No, I made it so good that they were making all the money, but then I left and then they went bankrupt. McDonald's went bankrupt. There's no longer McDonald's. It's only there by name.
it's been taken over by Burger King.
Yeah, it's secretly Burger King running McDonald's now. You heard it on Radio Rothingham first, ladies and gentlemen.
They probably are owned by the same company, honestly.
They filed for Mac bankruptcy and that was it.
Yep, they went to a Mac court.
And I thought fast food chains just gave like kind of licensing rights for people to build the places with the name.
That's franchising.
Yep. Not every fast food joint does it, but for instance, I think what's its face? Subway does it. So every Subway is owned by just someone, but they're paying a license fee to, the company.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules they have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they actually follow their rules. I think we had such a case in Germany, but I don't remember if it was McDonald's.
Wait, what? You had a case in Germany where people didn't follow the rules?
In Germany?
Yes.
My God.
Did they get the death penalty?
Not the people, it's like the manager that that bought some rights for the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Something, franchising, something.
Yeah.
Yes, he was like telling the staff to, the rules are telling us to throw away the lettuce if it's older than 1 day or something, and he was like, it can stay 1 week. And so basically they had subpar.
Just put it in the freezer, it'll make it more crispy.
Exactly. Kinda like this. But eventually, somehow, like by a miracle, some authorities found out, and luckily that guy who owned a few restaurants lost the licensing rights, and they were relicensing them to
No, but see, he didn't think about the ecosystem. What about all the hobos and university students that pick the trash?
And the spies. McDonald's does employ spies.
That's true.
They actually do. They send out inspectors randomly with the customers to check shit out all the time. All the big companies do. Espionage is actually a large part of modern business.
Do you think they employ some of the, more reputable hobos as their agents?
They probably do.
I read I'm a hobo.
No one ever suspects the hobo.
That years ago, back in the day of manor houses, when very rich people would have very large gardens, they would hire a hermit to live in their garden.
I think I had it about that.
Which is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
Why?
Just find some random hobo and say, hey, do you want to live in a shack in my garden? It adds character.
Wow. Okay.
Speaking of hobos, you know what place has a lot of hobos?
Hobo Land.
Well, close enough. I'm talking about Barcelona, but also Rome. And I think Rome is officially the winner so far, because they had a hobo on every street corner. Barcelona only had like hobos on things like...
Those might be beggars, not even hobos.
Well, the beggars, hobos, potato.
No. Beggars can also be normal people. Some of them even businessmen who just dress in rags and sit on the street corner. That's the best part about it.
Mm-hmm. I remember a local radio station once interviewed a beggar on the Halfpenny Bridge, and they found out that he made about €50 an hour, which is that's a substantial wage in Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not CEO level, but you're living pretty comfortably when you're making €50 an hour. Halfpenny Bridge is one of the busiest foot thoroughfares in Europe, so that's a lot of foot traffic. There's a few people every hour who are just going to drop a few pennies.
I think I may have come across one of these people because I was in Ireland, and specifically I was waiting for you to show up, and this guy walked up to me and he was like, "Oi," or whatever. He was like, "Give me €5." I was like, "Why? Hotel or motel?" And I was like, "No." And then he was like,
"That's not the whole." That is the kind of aggressive junkie that you want to stay far away from.
That's not the hobo you're looking for.
The regular The ones who actually seem to make all the cash are not the ones who harass people on the street, because the ones who harass people on the street get shooed away by the police. No, they're just the ones who sit there with a cup.
Being smile. But you have
Perfect.
toothless smile.
You just shake the cup every now and again. Got some change? And then when they get bored, they stand up, get off the little box, pull out their Armani jacket, and put it on and walk down the street like a perfectly normal, not hobo.
And yeah. It helps if you have a dog and if the dog also has his own cup.
But yeah.
Unless
It
it's
helps
like...
not to play music, because bruskers on the street are just the most terrifying things in the planet. Just beg, don't play music. It's obnoxious.
Well, it kind of depends. One place where I do appreciate music is when you're traveling on the subway or in the ground metro, whatever you want to call it.
As long as it's not live music, because live musicians just take up space that could be used for other people to travel.
There are parts of the London Underground where there are sections of the Underground that allows busking.
Artrix, before you say anything, it was a joke.
Okay.
No.
Not you, Artrix.
How?
The other A.
What I'm saying is basically everyone should be shot.
Yes.
And raped at least once.
No.
Just everyone.
Exactly once. Everybody should be raped exactly once, so nobody has anything to complain about.
No. That's horrible. You should feel bad.
So we're all even on the rape spectrum.
Exactly.
Can two people rape each other at the same time?
Not sure about people, but feminists sure can.
I think this is where I'll bring in George Carlin's joke where he said rape can be funny. Because that's just one of those awful jokes that's funny because it's so awful. And because it's so absurd. Like, how does it even work? What are the logistics here?
You're having sex and you find out that the other person is raping you, but you are not the one to back down, so you just go and out-rape the guy.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
I feel bad laughing now.
As you should.
As you should.
Gaster, you're raping me with your opinion.
You are terrible.
Oh, you
We
know.
are terrible people. Ah dear.
Well, I'm the most terrible one because I'm Drawn Widowmaker. I don't know the logistics about it. Yeah, it's obscene. Yes, I'm objectifying the shit out of her by not putting any emphasis.
Because you didn't buy me Overwatch, but you bought me Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead wasn't even out then, and also Left 4 Dead was like £2, and Overwatch,
like
35 quid when it
£39.
wasn't. I mean,
It's
some
still full price game, so fuck no.
well, some gave me a copy for free, so I'm not complaining.
Why would you buy me? Like, that's... I would appreciate Gun Home more than Left 4 Dead 2.
That's a lie.
Well, that is quite a statement you got there.
Oh, Panboy. I have no intention of playing either of them, and Gun Home has at least, more art.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's comparatively more art than Left 4 Dead.
I think there's at least one level of paintings from Left 4 Dead.
Ah. Do you slash them?
I don't know.
Wait, are we talking about Left 4 Dead or Overwatch now?
Yes.
Both. Okay. Oh yeah, we didn't have Astra time with the Astra in a while, so maybe we should.
Bad.
Xaverius, do you think?
I don't know if I can do that.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Don't do it, please.
It's the Astra time with Astra.
There you go. So yeah,
I have nothing to say.
well, you also played fucking Overwatch with the free-to-play thing. What about it? Did you like it?
I did enjoy it. I paid fucking what, £29, £30. You got it for free. How the fuck?
Someone gave it to him.
Yep.
Because
Someone
people
was.
like Artrix.
I'm
Nobody likes
jelly
it.
now.
Yeah, no one likes you, apparently.
Yeah, I had to go eat worms.
Actually, I did just recall some topical recent news.
Oh.
Apparently, Castro was a very nice man.
Oh yeah, that's a good topic to discuss. Yeah, he was very nice. Like he did so many.
Yeah, he was so alive back in the day when everything was painted red.
I mean, he was so nice to his people, and he did nothing wrong.
And Cuba has a great healthcare system,
Mm.
and their hospitals totally are not horrible, squalor, rat-infested hell dumps where they just send people to die. I mean, where they send people for the top-of-the-line treatment and cure all their diseases.
So what's the difference to the US healthcare?
U.S. healthcare is one of the best on the planet. It's
Well,
also exhibitly expensive.
You get out of the Cuban healthcare very quickly because you succumb to gangrene and die, even if you didn't have gangrene when you went in.
It does solve all the other illnesses and diseases you
It
might
does.
have.
You get cured by death. Also, they don't have any MRSA because they don't have antibiotics, so MRSA never developed over there.
Also, Castro was so good to his dissenters, and the political situation in Cuba was very just, and people really liked it in Cuba.
Because it's like, bro, let it go.
He was like, okay, so you don't like my leadership.
That's perfectly okay and valid and legitimate.
Now I
opinion.
got 6 guys outside with machine guns, and I would like you to stand next to that wall. Also, bring your family.
Yep.
Wow.
And their family's family, and their family's family's family.
It's fun for everyone.
Korea.
We're just going to show you and your neighbors what happens. It's just we're just going to make an example of what happens if people disagree.
Yeah, we're just gonna make an example out of you. So don't worry.
Sponsored party.
And then they drag all the corpses to the railroad tracks to spread the fertilizer around.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Oh wait, no, that's just my tactic. Sorry.
But back to top. Oh,
Do
okay.
they have railroads on Cuba?
No idea, probably.
I know they have cars that existed for like 60 or 70 years because they have no new cars, so they have to fix them perpetually.
Yes, their cars are literally stuck together with recycled I-beams and shit.
They still manage to look nice for some reason, though.
And also, driving around in Cuba is like you're stuck in the 50s because all the cars are from the 50s.
Yes, that's what I said. Cars that exist like 60 or 70 years.
Yeah.
Because the trade embargo, they have not been able to buy anything from anywhere for the last.
Yeah, the upside
50
is that cars have nice design.
Mm.
Like that's absolutely a win over the fact that it's kind of falling apart.
The most horrifying thing
And
is
there's no traffic lights, and sometimes there's no road.
I think the most horrifying thing is that Castro was in power for that long, and at no point did he just think to himself, "Do you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this is a bit fucked, and I should probably try to negotiate to not have my country so shit." But no, he was perfectly happy running the shittest country on the planet, next to maybe Somalia.
And best Korea, of course. I mean, Korea obviously does things better, but
I think even North Korea is better off than Cuba.
Well, North Korea has hospitals that mostly have the surface that's the tiling and not a mold. Only a downside, they sometimes have nothing to eat for 3 months, but hey, can't choose much.
Even as nice as Castro is, as you've described, you still have Black Lives Matter groups showing their support for everything Castro did, and leftists saying that his communist world was a paradise.
Obviously it was. I mean, if it wasn't so great and strong, why would Morica leave it alone?
I was thinking about this the other day. And I was thinking, what would it actually take for a communist paradise to work? And I came to the conclusion from my own thinking, basically, everyone would have to live in concrete mold houses with no furniture other than the bare essentials, and I mean everyone, including the political leaders and the factory owners, because it's communist. Nobody can have anything more than anyone else for it to truly be communist. Then, because the farms, because all you would be doing is producing enough food and electricity and resources to keep your own country going, you'd have these giant farms, but they'd be staffed by only like a dozen workers at any time, because you're using, you're going to use a combine harvester, so you don't need fucking 50 people working the farm because you've got machinery to do it, right?
The glorious revolution gave you the harvester.
So basically, you're going to end up with everyone living in identical concrete houses, with no entertainment, barely enough electricity for the lights to be on, and each person would work a 4-hour shift once a week to get their proper workout location for it to all be fair. And I imagine the only entertainment you would actually have in this utopic communist paradise, where everyone is fed and clothed and they're all perfectly healthy, because they actually do have a healthcare system that's maintained by people who have their doctorates, but only do 4-hour shifts at a time in the hospital, because there's 80,000 for every patient, because communism. So everything would be great, except it would be the most utterly boring, drab environment you could imagine, with absolutely no luxury. So the only entertainment people would have, because you couldn't have sports teams, because being in a sports team would elevate you above the common plan, because it would give you a position of status. Even the people with positions of status would have to rotate out every week. And so the only entertainment anyone possibly have is just rampant sex orgies.
Yeah.
I imagine the population would probably increase exponentially.
Until the system collapses in on itself, because you basically get like that situation where you have like this den full of mice in this mice utopia, and eventually they just stop reproducing and they just die.
Well, that's Japan.
This is kind of what's happening in Japan right now.
Also, Panboy, the communists did get part of it, right?
No.
It was the part that contained the living in concrete boxes. It was very popular way of building houses.
Yep.
Well,
standardized. Well, especially in Eastern Germany, they were very good at building standardized housing. Everything needed to be standardized.
Yeah, well, that's just communism for you.
But
and also,
then somebody got a great idea to take gypsies and put them in some of the houses, and that's how we get our own ghettos.
but yeah, there's also the phenomenon where in order for all of this to work, you also need everyone to agree and never disagree. So everyone agrees all the fucking time.
Also, people are going to be so utterly bored in this utopia because there's nothing to do. They'll find entertainment, and they'll brew their own alcohol in basements they dug with toothpicks.
That's what you do. Also, Artrix, the general gist of this getting into practice is that you shoot everybody who disagree, and then everybody agrees.
But that's
it
one
just
of
works.
That's one of the reasons.
Capitalists hate him.
Clicky.
No, we do. We do hate the capitalists, or the communists who shoot us.
Also, you do know that America actually once tried to take over Cuba. It ended terribly, and they never tried again.
Really?
That was Operation Flying Pigs or whatever, and
Bay of Pigs.
Bag of pigs. Indeed.
yeah.
I think they got negotiated out of it because the Russians were allying with them, with the communists or the Cubans at the time.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuba was more or less a USSR satellite state, and and the whole reason this operation happened was the Soviet Union was basically like, that's a nice communist island you got there, and it's really close to the United States. You know what? Let's put some silos on it. Let's put some nukes on it. What could possibly go? Oh, there's the United States, being all angry. With the finger this close to the nuclear button. You know what? No, let's not do that.
I'm pretty sure that the Russians were pretty happy with the notion of the Americans being angry about nuclear silos.
Yeah, except that it almost started World War III. So
Just
we're kind of like... Just a little bit of nuclear radiation is not gonna kill you. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
A little bit won't, but the entire nuke.
the
Well,
Soviets
the solution is very obvious. We just need half a nuke or maybe just a quarter nuke. So they just...
Tactical nukes.
Well, no. This is a literal quarter nuke. So you explode it and you only see like a quarter, like a pie-shaped portion of the nuke. So you see the mushroom cloud, but it's like a literal quarter of a mushroom cloud.
Yes. Well, the Soviets got kind of tired waiting for Americans to allow them to test nukes on their soil. So they eventually went to Ukraine and tried Chernobyl.
Well, that worked out fine, I guess.
Talking about Chernobyl, the new sarcophagus is finished.
No. They've covered the whole thing in concrete again.
So when can I go and visit this new?
So what you
Only
could
about
have
50 years.
this year was the last one where you could see the entire complex as it used to be in the old sarcophagus. Because now there's the new one, and it's going to be there for the next few hundred years. I think the projected lifetime is 2.
Will they at least send in a
And-
drone to make a picture of the elephant's food? Because I want to see that shit.
I think it's shut right. I don't know.
Oh,
Ask them. I'm not
Nah.
at Chernobyl.
me neither. And I
In any
don't care.
case, you can go there and just look at it from a distance. There's safe zones around the place.
I've been there.
I
a few times,
mean,
man.
hell, Artrix, you know when the place closed in 2000, and that was just because in the 90s one of the reactors caught fire again.
Oh.
It's like,
Whoops.
okay, it's on fire. Let's extinguish and never use it again. Also, hey, this one still works.
But yeah, nuclear reactors are actually really simple machines.
So I think they ran on 2 cores until 2000. Like, why waste this perfectly good?
Irradiated a
What?
reactor.
Yeah, I mean, this part still works, and it's not like radiation is a problem in a nuclear power plant, right?
I think it might be a minor problem for the people working there.
I think they have a bit of experience in the Japans. They might tell you a thing or two about exploded nuclear reactors. Isn't Fukushima still running? I think it is.
Poured concrete on it, didn't they?
Yeah. These are Japanese, not Soviets. Or
Japanese, Soviets, potato. They're both alien,
Artrix,
faraway cultures.
Japanese are weird people, you know all that. But you have to keep in mind that Russians were the sort of people for whom tank fuel and vodka are the same thing. So no.
But the weird thing is, though, I think the way they dealt with Fukushima actually has made it much harder to deal with than Chernobyl, because they let the core melt down completely and then dumped concrete on it. So yeah, now there's this molten core of uranium that's sitting there, continuing to boil itself, but it's trapped in concrete, and the only way to make a nuclear reaction like that slow down or cool down is to separate enough of the uranium so that it's not causing the chain reaction anymore, but it's covered in concrete. So
It literally doesn't have to shoot anywhere else. So it's contained, but it's not slowing down.
yeah, no, it's gonna burn itself out in like 5,000 years.
At least, Chernobyl is projected to die down in like 500 years. Then it's going to be a sort of okay place.
And anyways, we've been going for well over 1.5 hours, so I'm
Good.
going to.
End it now. End it like Chernobyl ended all the bacteria.
Yes, I'm just gonna go here and push the button, and it'll explode the entirety of Rotterdam, and we'll build it. We'll build again, like we did like
That
50
sounds
years
like
ago.
That sounds like the cultural enrichment I could get behind.
Exactly. So I'm gonna do it. I'll rebuild Rotterdam, and we'll be back
Make it
next
great
week.
again.
We'll make Rotterdam great again.
Hail Hydra.